Alright, so we listened to Evan's Ride or Die and Overflow, and I want to have a analysis, review, also sort of talking about his musical direction, also just how I feel about his solo work and solo career in general. I have so many things I want to talk about. First of all, we just heard Overflow. Do you guys agree? There's a very, very strong Justin Bieber influence there. And personally, because I'm not Evan's biggest personal fan, I don't watch, his personal Weverse or things like that too often, but I do know the first content that he posted on his new Instagram was Justin Bieber cover. I'm remembering this correctly, right? And I think that's actually it has a meaning. I think he was trying to show that his biggest musical inspiration is Justin Bieber. You could tell even in the earlier works that he did and earlier singing, you could tell which singers he was influenced by, and Overflow definitely reflected that. By the way, I don't want to sound as if sounding like Justin Bieber in this context is a compliment. Do you guys see where I'm coming from? You know how sometimes sounded like someone could be like, oh, you're copying? But no, it's not about copying. I'm saying the vocal level is that high is what I'm trying to say. Why is Justin Bieber so popular among idols? I don't know how you guys feel about in America or just in general about Justin Bieber. I personally feel, as well as a lot of musicians, a lot of idols, Justin Bieber is one of the best vocalists in our generation. I genuinely think his looks and other dramas and fans gets covered up. Purely musically, Justin Bieber is one of the best singers of our generation. I genuinely think Justin musically is on par with Mariah Carey or Michael Jackson or Prince or Bruno Mars. That's just my personal opinion. And I'm pretty sure a lot of idols feel that way. In fact, for people like Evan, he might even prefer Justin Bieber singing above any other vocalist that I just mentioned right now. And before I go further into Evan's analysis, speaking a little bit more about Justin Bieber, people usually say, oh no, Justin's not that good. It might be referring to as how high you could sing, how loud you could sing. But I'm not just talking about that kind of aspect of range or technicality. The control and the musicality of Justin Bieber's vocal ability is something else. Also, almost all R&B, all pop songs in our generation is influenced by Justin Bieber. Do you guys agree, right? Now this is sounding like a Justin Bieber review instead of Evan review, but I think understanding Justin Bieber is really important to understanding Evan as well. So I think it showed that very well. And going back to Ride or Die, like I said, Ride or Die is sort of a combination of multiple different genres. I felt initially the guitar sound, the electric guitar sound, it has a strong emo rock sound. But at the same time, the vocal sound, although you might say, oh, Heeseung, rock also used those kind of vocal. But what I felt was the vocal is more closer to hip-hop sound. I might be wrong. He might, Evan might see this video and be like, this guy doesn't know what he's talking about. I personally felt the vocal style was more hip-hop influenced. What I mean by that is, in emo rock vocal style, not only do they tune, but there's usually an overdrive sound. What I mean by that is, you know how when you turn on guitar amp, there's a zzz, zzz, that kind of sound, the gain sound. But instead of that, it was more of a cleaner tune, but not exactly like auto-tune that you guys would think of from rappers, but somewhere in that line. And these are the things that a lot of Korean rappers are kind of doing nowadays. Do you guys know singer named Sick or Now I'm Young? They're famous Korean rappers. I don't think American audience would know them too well, but they're under this company called KC, and they also do music similar to a lot of American artists. I personally feel like Evan's vocal production has been influenced by both American hip-hop as well as Korean hip-hop. That's why it's sort of in that middle range of rock. I think, okay, going further, now we're getting into sensitive topic. I don't want to act like the elephant isn't in the room, and I don't want to be canceled on Twitter either. But we all know that Evan was part of ENHYPEN, and he was one of the main as well as one of the best vocalists in the group. And he left to do his solo work, right? By the way, I'm not here to talk about the departure. I'm here to talk about the after. So, before I go further, I personally think and I want to talk about from now on as well as future. What I mean by that is, where is he heading towards, and why did he decide to do, and what choices did he make in his musical world? By the way, I'm trying to approach it musically. Do you see where I'm coming from? Because I might be wrong. Please correct me if I'm wrong. I literally might get I'm gonna get teared apart. But at the same time, I'm not a type of person to not say something because I'm afraid people are gonna cancel me. I heard that he did an interview or he made a statement saying that he wanted to do this kind of music. And I also saw an interview saying he said he made a mixtape and the company promised him that they would be able to release that mixtape like 2 years ago, but then they didn't allow him to release that music. So the company didn't keep the promise. And I don't know if you guys have seen that full talk. Am I correct? Am I speaking on the correct? Because sometimes, stuff on internet isn't always true. I just want to make sure if this is actually true. So I think he had a strong musical desire, which as a solo vocalist, this is really good because, hear me out, you know how a lot of K-pop idols do solo? And I'm not trying to bring down other soloists, but there is definitely two type of soloists when it comes to K-pop idols. What I mean is, number one, there's the K-pop idols who do solo because they have a clear musical direction they want to express and they want to go towards. And number two, it's sort of as a fan reward, like a fan service, where there's a lot of personal fans and they just want to release a personal song because they just want to show appreciation to the fan. I'm not saying this is bad. I really am not. But you see where I'm coming from, right? And without doubt, do you guys agree? Evan's solo is definitely the first type. He had very, very clear music that he wanted to do. And the reason why this is important is because these two songs are probably like the best reflection of his musical direction. And like I said earlier, do you guys agree? I feel like Overflow reflects his personal preference more. He probably loved this song. I bet this is probably one of his favorite song. I think company probably told him like pick your favorite song, or maybe he personally said this is my favorite song. I'm not gonna debut unless we have this included or something like that. I don't know how much control he has because this is another sensitive thing. When you're under a company. I should be really careful when I say this. But I'm a musician, but I'm not part of any label. But at the same time, I see people who are in label and things like that. Guys, your actions under a company, not even as an artist, but you know how when you work under any company, any jobs, your actions aren't always best reflection of your will. So even with these releases, we won't know exactly which one was his choice, which one was the AR. AR is the people who sort of A&R, sorry, not AR, which is A&R's choice. We don't know that. So I'm just kind of making guesses. You see where I'm coming from? But I just felt Overflow showed that better. And then the pre-chorus to Overflow is actually my favorite. Overflow. The tune. Wow. The vocal ability is actually unbelievable. Like genuinely unbelievable. And adding on, I don't know if I'm the only one who feels like this, but I see why he had the confidence. I don't know if confidence is the right word, but you know how we always knew that he was amazing vocalist, and he sang solo covers and solo songs, but maybe because he's wearing the right clothes. I think wearing right clothes is really important for vocalists. A lot of people are good at singing, but people are usually good at singing within the genre that they specialize in. Obviously, there are singers who could sing every genre, which I personally think Evan is, but at the same time, he definitely enjoys and excel in these kind of genre. But at the same time, you know how if you're part of a group, you don't always get to pick genres that you shine in because there's different concept, there's different trends that the group has to follow. I think that's probably what he wanted to sort of, he felt like he wasn't able to express his vocal ability from. Yeah. I personally really enjoyed his cover of, what is that song? Is this what is falling in love? This is what feels like falling in love. The Jake song. That one I think is one of the amazing cover. Yes. And also one of his solo songs. I forgot the title. And adding more, in terms of the first song as well as second song, simple quality of the song is really high. I personally felt it's the music video $1 million project. Like music video was nice. But with the photos or with the videos, was it like the most expensive debut? I personally felt no. I don't know how much investment the company gave for his debut. But at the same time, you know how musical ability is apart from the money investment? So I felt the music itself really showed off and proved itself. And I feel like for solo artists, that part is way more important. Yes. They're playing it safe. They also, I understand somewhat, the company probably is unsure with their investment. So they're probably not like going all in. Corty's debut seems more expensive. Like, guys, that's 1,000,000% true. This is not, I'm not trying to defend hive or defend B-Lift or anything like that. But group projects are the ones that companies gonna invest big money. And solo, especially this kind of solo, is much risky. It's simply like a riskier investment. So I understand if the company wants to start at a lower budget. By the way, I'm not saying necessarily like, it's like a low quality, like that's not what I'm talking about. Yeah. But going further, now what are we expecting for his future works? I feel like we could actually expect a consistency in genre. I don't exactly know who he is, or I don't exactly know what desire he has inside musically, but I personally feel like he has a genre that he enjoys, which is this genre that we just listened to. So I think if you are a fan of this kind of genre, sort of in between of R&B, emo rock, hip hop, it's sort of a similar kind of overlapping area, I feel like. And it's also a genre that a lot of American audience enjoy. Do you guys agree? Rather than Korean audience, it's closer to America's pop music. So I feel like his solo is probably going to do better internationally than domestically. Yes. He's gonna, and I also felt, not in like a copy sensation, but I felt, wow, this is Dean potential. You guys know who Dean is, right? The Korean R&B singer Dean. I thought with this vocal ability, and also considering the commercial part, not just the musical part, his looks, it's supposed to be like a music review, but okay, he's handsome. You guys agree? I mean, I always thought he was handsome, but I feel like he actually became more good looking. As in, I need to be careful when I say this. This is just my honest opinion. You don't have to agree with this. But when he was in the group, he had sort of a dead eye, like sort of a blank eye like this. But then with solo works, I feel like he has more life in him. I'm not saying necessarily, I don't want to sound like generalizing, but that's just the impression I got. I just feel mentally he is doing better. You might want to cut this part out. I'm sorry. By the way, I really support ENHYPEN. You guys know that, right? And I'm actually gonna get canceled for this, but I'm just gonna say it. This is my honest opinion. I'm actually gonna get canceled. If Heeseung really left ENHYPEN with his own will, then I support his personal career, but at the same time, I think Engines or other members are perfectly valid to be disappointed. That's just my personal opinion. I'm not saying like kill him, it's not like that. But I personally feel, I don't know, maybe this is somewhat related to my Korean background, but in a group, especially like before the contract ends, but at the same time, we don't know exactly what he's going through. And it's always not right to speak when you don't know the full story. Because, people would change their opinion when they hear the full story, but we never know the full story. No one knows the full story. Funny thing is, I'm not even sure if the group members know the full story either. So, which might be one of the reasons why they might be frustrated as well. But that's just my stance. You don't have to necessarily agree with me. I know there are some people who still want him to return to the group. And my personal opinion is that I just want to support his solo career for now. I personally listen to ENHYPEN music because of him. Just my bias is Jay, but he literally has all the killing parts in every single song. So how could you not like his vocal when you already listen to ENHYPEN music? Do you guys agree? So if he leaves the group, then no wonder why Engines would be disappointed. Totally valid. And the members, they mentioned how they're families. And so if members feel disappointed, but at the same time, I also feel like in terms of members or things like that, or even fans, okay, another thing I want to add on is I wouldn't say I'm Engine. Like what I mean by that is I kind of think of myself as third person. What I mean by that is, in comparison to some of the people out there and some of you guys, I didn't dedicate my life as much as you guys did into ENHYPEN or into Heeseung or into Evan. And one of the things that could be really annoying is like when someone talks when they haven't even, been to ENHYPEN concert. Like, why are you talking? You don't even know ENHYPEN that well. You see what I mean? So, although those are the things I feel, I personally think I don't have a say. You see where I'm coming from? I don't have a say. Like, who am I? Who am I? So that's why ultimately I feel like because I don't have a say, only thing I could do is I enjoyed ENHYPEN music a lot. And also, I heard ENHYPEN is making comeback as well. Like, I'm super excited for that. And now that Evan made good music, I feel like the only thing I could do is enjoy the music they give us. Because being honest, guys, am I doing anything for them in my life? No. I'm only receiving from them. They have only given me good music. I'm only receiving. So even though earlier I said like, this and that, how I feel, but like, who am I to say? what right do I have? So, and like I said again, like I don't know the full story, like blah blah blah. So going back to the song review, Overflow is Overflow is nice. Yeah. Why would you have to do stuff for them? Oh no, I meant as in like, have I bought like a lot of albums to help their living or something like that? You know what I mean? Like, have I gifted them a lot? Like I'm saying like I haven't contributed to them and their works in relative to other people. Just being honest, guys. Okay, this is like a separate talk, but listening to a song a lot, you might feel like you're helping, and you are. Like, you really are. But at the same time, to someone that big, like Enhypen or Evan, like to these people, when you listen to it 10 times, I'm sure they would be grateful. But at the same time, we're giving them what, 0.001 cent. You guys know like the amount of streams that I play as one person probably gave them like 50 cents. So as a result, like I have as much say to them as much as 50 cents, not the rapper, like 40 cents. You see where I'm coming from? So that's what I meant by like I haven't contributed a lot. Even if you bought an album, like I feel like then what? You contributed what? $5? And like, okay, if you bought an Hyphen album, then like what? Divide that by 7, it's like $1. Is that, you see where I'm coming from? So I personally don't feel like me or someone else should be like, I don't know, like you see what I mean? Yeah. At least I don't feel like I have much say. Well, obviously with the groups that I've been watching for longer time and having more dedication, I feel like maybe I might feel more involved. But yeah, I'm definitely gonna add Overflow to my playlist. Ride or Die, I think, is a type of song that actually grows on you. It really is like Red. I don't know if it's just me. You guys know I love Cortez. I didn't really find Red that crazy like Go or Fashion. Like when Go or Fashion came out, I was like, yo, this is best song of the like century, whatever. But then Red, I was kind of like, it's good, but is it hard hitting as Go? Like, I don't know. But then I keep listening to it again, and now like Red every day. So Ride or Die chorus really grows on you, and sounds good. Okay, before I finish this talk today, I'm sorry if I misspoke. This is live streaming, not pre-written essay. So sometimes while I form my words, I say things that, oh, maybe I should have phrased that differently, or oh, maybe I should have said that. But at the same time, well, I'm responsible for my own words. So anyway, you guys let me know what you think of this. Nice. All right. Bro, this is your platform? Not once it leaves my hand. You know what I mean? I think I also should personally speak with the mind that you don't know who's gonna watch this. I personally wish the stuff we say only stay inside Yomi. I would love that. But at the same time, that's not always the case. Like once it's in public, it's in public. So, alright, sounds good. But I actually really enjoyed the song.